Okay, so I was born in Beijing in 1970, and so I'm a professor at the School of Philosophy at Fudan University in Shanghai, China, and also adjunct professor of philosophy at NYU Shanghai. And so I had a bachelor degree in nuclear physics and a master degree in philosophy of science from Peking University or Beijing University. And then my doctoral degree was from Boston University in the US. My dissertation back then was philosophy of physics, philosophy of quantum mechanics in particular. And after graduation, I worked at the philosophy department at Xavier University in Cincinnati. I mean, the Americans don't know how to pronounce Javier, so it's Xavier University in Cincinnati. And then I returned to Fudan as a full professor of philosophy in the spring of 2010 and have worked there since. So in the academic year of 2016 to 2017, I spent a year at Harvard's Edmund J. Safra Center for Ethics as a visiting fellow. And in terms of research, I moved from the field of philosophy of science to political philosophy, comparative philosophy, and Chinese philosophy. So I have a few books published in Chinese, two on political philosophy, but one is based on my doctoral dissertation called The Tension of Reality, Einstein, Bohr, and Pauli in the EPR debate. Then I have two books published in English. One is kind of introductory to Chinese political philosophy called China, the Political Philosophy of the Middle Kingdom, and most recently a book with a very politically incorrect title called Against Political Equality, the Confucian Case. So in this book, I offer sort of Confucianism-inspired political alternative to liberal democracy. In domestic governance, argue that Confucianism can embrace the liberal part of liberal democracy, along with the democratic idea of equal opportunities and governmental accountability to the people. But Confucianism would give more decision-making power to those with moral, practical, intellectual capacities of caring for the people. And the ideal regime is kind of mixed regime, a mixture of the voice of the people and the political decision by the compassionate and competent. So I think that the driving force behind it is that I think there are a lot of problems with today's democracy, but most democratic thinkers still focus on improving on equality and people's participation. But that, to me, I think the Liberal Party and Democratic Party are conceptually different. In reality, they are in conflict. So my proposal is to preserve the Liberal part by putting some restriction on the Democratic part. I presented the early version of this paper at Harvard, and right around the time Trump got elected. And so a fellow there told me, before I would think your idea is crazy, but now with Trump elected, I don't think your idea is that crazy anymore. So that's the background. And in terms of a global order, similarly, I try to argue that we should give more power to those state entities that are more responsible for human affairs. So it's some kind of unequal order on the international level, because I think the problem of globalization is that it's led by nation states. And nation states, by definition, are going to do whatever it takes for their own self-interest. I think that's the root cause of globalization. And in the past few years, I move on to even someone more disturbing, Han Feizi, ancient Chinese thinker who's often compared with Machiavelli and Hobbes. I think the underlying idea that we have so many failed states, they don't even have a functioning government. We try to give them democracy. It doesn't seem to solve the problem. Han Feizi, the legal thinker, is focused on how to build a functioning government first. And I think it also brings some new ideas. I think the Western political philosophy is focused too much on the issue of justice legislation, not so much on the arts of governance, like how to build a functioning bureaucracy. And another thing I like to mention is that since I returned to Fudan, I established a master program in Chinese philosophy with courses taught in English. The idea is to offer a kind of bridge program to foreign students who want to study Chinese philosophy but don't have the language yet. So put all this together, I guess what I've been trying to do, since I graduated, is simply to borrow a famous phrase to change a little bit, is to make Chinese philosophy great again. So that's what I'm doing. Thank you. And so it's my honor to present the books to the Academy.